God. Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, man. Guys, has poor network ever messed you up so badly during an important phone call? You know? Well, guys, be sure to stick around until the end of this video because today I'm talking about phone interviews. What are the do's, what are the don'ts, and just how do you ace a phone interview? And as you've seen, evidently from this intro, poor phone network is one of those things that you don't want to happen. So guys, thank you for tuning in. This is VoiceIt, the platform where we empower millennials in Kenya in information and media literacy so that you can be active citizens. If you're new here, please subscribe and be part of the VoiceIt squad. Phone interviews are becoming quite a common trend in today's job market, and especially in the future of jobs, where so many virtual opportunities are opening up. And now with the COVID-19 pandemic, we can even expect to see lots of virtual opportunities opening up. And if you're wondering, and remote jobs, and if you're wondering what exactly are these virtual remote jobs, and you know how you can even access them, so that will be a topic for another day.
Virtual or remote jobs are basically jobs that don't require you to be seated at an office location in your employer's premises. You get to work from home or at any other convenient location of your choice.
Yes, a lot of virtual jobs are opening up, and because of this, a lot of interviews are also being conducted remotely. And this is where you can have either that interview over Zoom or you can have it over Skype. Skype is actually quite common for job interviews, or it can still be a simple phone call. It can be a simple phone call from your usual either Safaricom or your Airtel line if you're in the country that is. So what exactly are the key things that employers are looking out for over phone interviews? And there are basically three main things that employers are looking out for when it comes to job interviews. It's okay, you can pass. Obviously, have you seen recording this interview from home and my son just walked in and is like he needs to go to the loo. Anyway, working from home, social distancing situations, sorry about that. So yes, there are three main things that employers are looking out for when it's on phone interviews, and obviously they can't see you. And this is the other advantage I like about phone interviews, because you don't have to wear a suit and a tie, or you know, all those hassle of dressing for an interview and carrying the right suitcase and whatever, wearing the right perfume or not wearing it. The three main things that employers are looking out for, and the first thing is your communication skills, your listening skills, and your technical capacities for the job. And the tips that I'm going to give you, I think there are 5. These 3 things that employers are looking for: your communication skills, your technical capacity for the job, and your listening skills are going to fall in these 5 tips that I'm going to give you. And let's go straight to the point. And the first tip for nailing a phone interview is ensuring you're in the right environment. What do I mean by this? First, you need to be somewhere that is away from noise. Okay, and if you're in Nairobi, you know our usual hassles, you know, matatus and what have you. So you don't want to be caught up in a phone interview when you're trying to navigate or commute through the rush hour traffic. It's insane. So one of the things with phone interviews, if you've not had any, employers usually ask you to choose an appropriate time that is convenient for you. They give you the luxury of doing that. And if you have, if the organization that you're involved with is one that is in a different time zone, one that is in a different country, most of the time, from what I've seen out of experience, is that they'll give you a set of, at most I've seen they give you three time slots. 3 different time slots that you can choose from, and most of the time it will be either early morning, in the afternoon, or way into the night. Of course, this depends with the time zone. And so they ask you to choose the one that is convenient for you. So this is something you don't want to be anxious at rushing into. So before you even settle and confirm that, I know there's all this excitement that comes with, oh yes, I've gotten an interview, I've been shortlisted. Yes, don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. Before you respond to this, you want to ensure that that specific time frame that you choose is a time frame that will find you at a convenient environment for that interview. And listen, in case you're working for a different organization, at the time that you get this call back, you want to ensure that you do not pick a time that will find you in office. Respect your employer's space and respect that place, because it won't even be convenient for you to have an interview in your employer's location. So maybe choose a time that you'll be away from duty, or you'll be at home settled at that time. For me, I usually prefer very early mornings before I leave, or late into the evenings when I'm home, let's say around 7 or 9. It's usually very convenient. And the important thing about the atmosphere as well is that it allows you to be in your element. You're at a place where you're settled right on time before the interview. Let's say don't settle in too early, like an hour, or you'll get bored. So maybe for me, I usually work with 15 minutes, and for those 15 minutes I'm seated. I've ensured that everything is good to go, and I have ensured that I have all the things that I need. Those are my documents and my notebook. And the 15 minutes, I'm just going through my CV, the cover letter, and I'm coming in to the details about having your CV and your cover letter and your JDs. I'm coming into the rest of the tips. Yeah, so usually for me, I just do 15 minutes. It looks a lot, but it's usually not a lot. So guys, the number 2 tip for nailing your job interview is having the right tone. Remember, I mentioned that one of the top 3 things that our employers are looking out for during a phone interview is your communication skills. And how do they get this? Because they can't see you. It's not physical where they can read your body language. So all they have is your voice. How do you sound? And one of the things that you can tell how you sound is basically by rehearsing or pre-recording this interview. You do like a trisex. We call it trisex in Nairobi in slang. And this is basically a mock, or rather a trial. Yes, so this is where you want to have a friend or a relative or a spouse on the other side. They ask you questions and you respond, and you're doing it like practically, not physically, but they're on phone, and you want to record that, and then you want to listen to that playback and see and listen to how you sound. Do you sound confident? Do you sound calm? Do you sound composed? Do you sound knowledgeable? Because those are the things that your employer or recruiting person on the other side of the line you'll be looking at. So you want to ensure that your tone is okay. You're not rushing through your words. You're taking your time to listen. And when you're listening, this is also important, because you need to give the person who is speaking, the person who is interviewing you, time to finish their questions. Okay. Yes, so when it comes to tone, those are the things you need to look out for. And I don't think I'm forgetting anything when it comes to tone. Let me see. Oh yes, and the other thing when it comes to tone that is quite important is that you need to be clear in how you answer your questions, how you speak, how you respond, how you ask your questions, because remember, they're testing your communication skills. And one of the tips for you to ensure that you're answering the questions the right way is, as I said, which goes back to the tip, to the first tip, being the right atmosphere. Once you're there, you're settled, it makes you at ease. So you will be oozing a lot of confidence, because you got this, okay? And then the other thing, actually, before I forget, when it comes to tone, smile. I know it sounds weird, especially if it's not a video. Most of the phone interviews will not actually be videos. There'll be phone calls. And so you want to smile. I know it sounds awkward to tell you to smile, but yes, there's a difference between speaking when you're not happy or when you're not excited, and speaking when you're happy. Okay? Like, you can tell in this video I'm happy, and you can feel that warmth, you can feel that happiness. it's just flowing. You're not here with me, but you can tell that this person is happy. And that's the same thing. When you smile, your voice comes out a certain way. And it shows enthusiasm. You're excited about this. Like, I don't know if I'm the way I will introduce this number 3, I will try not to smile, and you will notice the difference. And the third tip for nailing your phone interview is ensure that you have the right internet and mobile network connectivity. And the reason why I've put those two is because perhaps it won't be a Skype phone call or a Zoom phone call. It will be a call right at home. And so maybe you're not in the cities. If you're here in Nairobi, if you're in Kenya, maybe you're not in one of the urban cities. You're somewhere remote in the village, and there's always poor network connectivity in the villages. So by the time you settle down for a phone interview, ensure, if you're in that village that doesn't have proper network, ensure that you climb that tree that you usually climb to get network, or that rock, or go to that place that has network. It is important, and that is why I introduced this video through that small drama you saw there, because phone network can fail you terribly. The other thing, if it's an online based interview, this is where you are relying on internet, and you have to ensure that you have stable Wi-Fi connection. I know this is a bit challenging because for some people, because sometimes you're not in control of the internet. Our Zukus, our Safarikoms, sometimes technical issues happen, and they have their downtimes and what have you. So this is the day you want to pray. Okay, first ensure that you're at a place with proper internet connectivity. Do your part. If anything technical happens, let it be one of those terrible bad days, but ensure that you have stable internet connectivity, and also ensure that, this I've learned from experience, ensure that you have backup mobile data, just in case one fails. And also, this again goes back, one of the tips that I can give you as far as ensuring that internet does not disappoint you if you're in our country especially, is ensure that the time that you choose, remember I spoke about choosing the right timings for your interview. Ensure that the time that you choose also is not that, we know we have these hours where a lot of Kenyans are usually online, and it causes a lot of internet delays. I don't know if you've noticed, like especially on Mondays morning, it's usually crazy. And also it depends with your service provider, but yes. And also around 5 p.m. when people are commuting from work, and obviously that's the time most of the people, because most of us are using public transport, that's the time most of the guys are riding home, and they are on their phones. So there's a lot of internet usage, and around 7-8 p.m. thereabout. So the timing that you choose will also help you to ensure that you don't have connectivity hiccups, because that can mess you up. Because some of these virtual jobs, and this is something that happened to me, if you have a remote job opportunity, it means that most of your work, most of your interaction with your colleagues and your employers will be virtual. Like right now, I'm volunteering as a communication specialist at an international organization. It's based in the UK from last year, August. And I have amazing colleagues, and I report to the director of communications, and I have never physically met these people. And so what this means is that you will have a lot of your interactions with your colleagues will be virtual. So again, for the internet connectivity, it's not just about the interview, it's also seeing how qualified, how capable you are at executing your role. Okay, yes, I will insist on that. It's the point that I feel that I've taken most time on, but yeah, I don't want you to repeat the same mistakes that I did. And the fourth tip when it comes to acing your phone interview is to ensure that you incorporate keywords in your speech. What do I mean by this? There are keywords that every career field has, and these keywords you will see them in your JD, the job description. See, when they advertise for this position, there are things that they spoke about. For instance, if it was a communication role, maybe they spoke about writing skills, editing skills, and what have you. So you want to ensure that you incorporate these things, these words, in how you respond. And if you're wondering what these keywords are and why they're important, I've done a video. I've hosted a lady, a top marketing and digital expert, Rose Monue, in a video here. And so you can watch this link to see what keywords are and even how you can incorporate them, not just in your speech one over phone interview, but in your CV as well, and why it's important. You shouldn't miss that video. It's quite important. So you want to incorporate these keywords. What this does, it shows the person who is interviewing, because you also have a very short time, is that you are the right candidate for this job. You got what they're looking for. You have it, and what's better way than, talk about it, these things. And when you incorporate the keywords as well, it shows that your employer, you have technical skills, know-how for this job, which brings me again to the other point, and this is the employer is looking for your technical capacities for this job, how equipped you are. And this is why it's important when you have a phone interview, as much as it's not the physical one where you walk into an office and you're carrying a brown envelope with your CVs, cover letters, and what have you, and your certificates. Here, before you sit down on a job interview, there are things that you need to have. And the first thing, have a notebook, have a pen, and have your papers, have your resume there, have your cover letter, the one that you used to apply for this particular job, and have the job description over there as well. And so when you're speaking, you want to talk about the things that you mentioned in your cover letter. Those are the things that you want to highlight, because one of the things that you got a call back, you got shortlisted, is because what they saw in your papers. So you want to reaffirm that, reinforce. Yeah, that's the word, reinforce. It even sounds good. Yes, you want to reinforce that. So those are the things that you speak about. And one of the things that I've realized in most phone interviews, the employers on the other side will want to ask you an anecdote, and this is where they tell you, give us an example of, give us an example of a time that you accomplished a great task, or give us an example of a time that you were managing a team and you were faced with a big challenge. What was it, and how did you deal with it? So they will sort of ask these things just to test your capacities. So you want to be sure they want to see your strengths. So as you're putting down your papers, you also want to ask yourself before, again, now the interview, what are your biggest accomplishments in your roles, in your current roles, and how have you used them to be a better employer? Because they will often ask you for those things. And the last tip for acing your next interview is to ask questions. And I know it sounds a bit, why am I asking questions? I'm the one who is being interviewed. Yeah, am I replacing the other person? No. Asking questions is quite important, as I came to learn. And again, this is VoiceIt, and we've got you covered. I've done a candid interview with a top HR practitioner who is also the CEO of a top recruiting company here in Kenya, and she gave us all nuggets of wisdom on why it's important to ask questions. And she even went further. God bless you, Dorcas Kenya, corporate manpower. She even gave us tips on questions to ask your interviewer during an interview. And Dorcas said it's important because it shows enthusiasm for the job, and it also shows your potential employer that you're technically equipped for the job as well. You're knowledgeable. And so I won't go much into that. If you want more information on that, please check it out on this link. But yes, it's important to ask questions. It also gives you an opportunity to learn more about the organization. Okay, and it shows you're curious. And so guys, those are were they 5 or 6? I've lost count. I will check during the editing while I'm listing them down. But guys, I hope you really enjoyed, because I have, obviously, as you can tell, and I'm hoping we get those jobs. I know youth unemployment has been quite an issue in our country for quite a long time, but there's good news. The future of jobs is opening up immense opportunities. This is also a video that I've covered, future of jobs in the fourth industrial revolution, and so maybe we can also, yes, we are hoping to get jobs locally, but we can expand our horizons. You just never know. And so please, let's try this out for these jobs. You can still have a job here and you have a job elsewhere on hourly basis. So guys, please, I want you guys to think broad, open up your mind. Opportunities are there. When you go online, don't just use your internet, your Wi-Fi, your data bundles for social media. Social media is good, it is fun, but there's a time for everything. And one of the things that I want you guys actually to do, which is something that I practice every day, in the morning, I want to ensure that I'm spending some time online to develop myself. And that's why you're using it to learn a new skill. You're using it to learn of job opportunities in the line of your career and apply for them before you log into Facebook, before you logging into Twitter, or before you logging onto Instagram. And now there's TikTok. So guys, that's a conversation we will have another time. Let me end this one here because this is a good day. It's a Sunday, it's sunny, and I'm happy, as you can tell, and I can go on and on and on and talk. So guys, I would like to hear from you. If you ever had phone interviews and you made a mistake, what was that mistake, and what did you learn from it? Please comment in the comment sections, and let's teach fellow youths. Let's learn from each other. All right, and if you are a recruitment person, HR, or working in an agency, and you see some of the mistakes people commit during phone interviews that have not highlighted, please comment also and help us learn. So as always, guys, I'm excited. Thank you for watching. Be sure to stick around for the next video next week, same place, same time. Please subscribe, and if you like the video, please also give it a thumbs up.